AI coding can suck sometimes. One of the biggest issues that I see from the community, from you guys, is that it can go on, work on things that it shouldn't do, and even work on things that it hasn't even talked about, or just do things in general that you're not supposed to do. So this is kind of like one of the pivotal or main things that I implement into my coding workflow to make sure that it's on task, it does what it needs to do, and it's something called Taskmaster. And what Taskmaster is pretty much something that takes your code and breaks it down into smaller chunks. The whole idea behind it is, you know, you're not going to climb Mount Everest in one go, right? You need to take steps. To climb a ladder, you have steps to reach the top. Oftentimes, we find ourselves stuck in this loop, right? We want to build a big future, and really, it's just breaking down it into like smaller. And like, take this for example. If you wanted to build a rocket, right? This person's like thinking like I want to build a rocket. That is a very broad question to say. Like I want to build a rocket, sure, you could do that, right? But it's a very big task and requires you to break it down into smaller chunks, chronological order to actually build a good foundation to build a proper project and return have a working product. And so it eliminates this loop of just going back and forth, trying to add on to things what I would consider spaghetti code because you're just building on top of features that you don't even know about. And that's the whole idea of Taskmaster. Set up a chronological plan, order, and establish a good ecosystem within your code. It's one of the little tips and tricks that I keep and want to share with you guys. So, enough of the yapping. I know you guys actually want to get down to it, how to use Taskmaster. Taskmaster, messing that up. If you're using Lovable, Bolt.new, or Replit, those AI coding tools, it's going to be a little bit different. The whole ideology behind it, you can still apply it to your coding workflow. And the whole thing, or don't want to repeat myself, I guess, way to use it is to just break what you're trying to do down further. And you don't really need to use this tool. I use it, and I'll show you why I use it within my work and as an MCP because essentially it's like a Kanban board but for your code. And it has an idea of how your code works. It's a glorified project manager that actually knows what you're doing. That's really what it is. And it helps because you have order. Anyways, let's go to Grok real quick. If I wanted to use Taskmaster, option one is going to be using the MCP. And all you're going to do, if you're using, this is only for Cursor and Windsurf that I know of 100%. I don't want to tell you guys something else and it's wrong, but if you're using Cursor or Windsurf, you simply just go here, go to the settings, Cursor settings, and then click on MCP, click add new global MCP, and then you just copy this here. If you have something ready, you just put it down here and just put MCP servers Taskmaster AI, or I think it's like this. Like if you have multiple, and just make sure it's like this. So like your MCP servers are like this, and here. So it's pretty easy. You just click that, and then for Windsurf, let me open it up for you guys. For the people who are using Windsurf, I don't want to leave you guys out. I know that you could just go here to settings, MCP. Yeah, and then you click add server, and they can do add custom server right here. And then you just, here's one for my Supabase one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's pretty easy to set up. And I'm going to have to delete my Supabase MCP now because I just exposed it. But anyways, it's okay. After you do that, it's pretty easy. You're good to go. You're just going to put, I just want to follow what I put here for you guys. Oh, I forgot. I don't want to miss over this. If you don't want to use the MCP, it doesn't matter what you're using. You could just do, you want to go and make sure you're in your project directory. What I mean by that is, here's the code for my project. You want to make sure that you're in the folder of where your code is, because that's how Taskmaster is going to organize your tasks for you. You want to make sure everything is in one place. But to actually download it from your CLI, you could just run this command right here, npm install right here. This is how you download it through npm. So this will install it from the CLI without having to use MCP. Anyways, once you've installed it, right, it's pretty easy. You just run Taskmaster in it. And what init or initialize is going to do is just like set up the whole environment. Like if I were to do tm init right now, it's going to restart the whole thing, so I don't want to do that. But after you do that, you're going to want to do a PRD. And so everything that I've told you previously are kind of just like what I would say just do it type of things. It's kind of like, if I'm not giving a good explanation on like why you need this, I apologize. But just do these things here, and this next step is going to make a lot more sense into like the why. So you're going to need something called a PRD. And what a PRD essentially is almost like some sort of previous knowledge or plan. Previous knowledge being like the things you've already done. For example, let me do this from scratch for you guys. If I were to go to ask, right? You can do this in whatever AI tool that you're using, Replit, Cursor, or anything, and just be like, what is the current context of my code? And so, or how does my code currently work? And you can give it the code of whatever project you may have. And so you could just wait for it to analyze and ask it to put it into a file, which I've done. I've ran this and I'm like, all right, now I need you to put it into a file, right? And if I go to my front end here, I'll show you what I mean by this too. So you have your architecture of how your project works, and just overall how your code just connects together. And so here I've listed everything of how my current project works, right? And after that, let me stop this here because I don't want to generate it. I simply put in the next steps that I want to do. So here's the project that I'm currently building with AI, right? It's this recipe planner cookbook. And one of the features that I want to add next is actually to fix this issue that I have. Maybe let's just add something small. For example, I have a feature here where whenever I click save as a new recipe, I'm facing an issue where it doesn't save the servings, time, and then the instructions and ingredients are fine, right? But these things are missing. So I'm going to add that to the list of tasks that I want to do. And again, this section is for if you currently have a project. I'll show you shortly how to start it from zero as well, so don't worry. And as you can see here, I just put, I want you to update my tasks entirely and update my PRD to include the steps of improving the UI for my recipe page. So this is the next thing that I want to work on. And I just told my agent, you don't need to follow this exactly, but it's essential just be like, or just being like, hey, what do I work on next? That type of thing. And once you integrate this MCP, it just really handles a majority of the load for you. And so, again, your PRD file is what will get your Taskmaster started. It has an idea of what it should work on. And again, if you're in a situation where you wanted to update your tasks as well, you can also just be like Taskmaster upgrade, or just I want you to update my tasks and remove the previous tasks. You can do this manually, but the truth is a lot of you don't want to just type in commands back and forth. I just simply just put it in the chat to type in this command now, even though I just hated it. I was like Taskmaster list. You can see here that it added all of the tasks that I wanted to do, and it sorts it by priority. So you know what to work on next. And if you were like, what should I want you to work on the next thing. and just did that. Now your AI has an idea of what to actually do next. And so, and another like real life example of what's going on, I asked it to implement this new feature, and it's asking me about authentication. One of the things that I'm missing from this app is actually authentication, and currently my recipes are being saved locally until I plan on adding authentication later. But for now, I'm just going to be like proceed and just work on this new set of tasks. And you can see here it is now working on the next feature, which is our UI change. Something else I want to show you guys with Taskmaster that's pretty cool is the expand feature. And the way it works is it takes something that, even though, yes, it's giving you tasks, it breaks it down further. And if we just run taskmaster expand dash dash ID and then put an equal sign, then we put the, let's see here, any of the ones I want to work on next. Let's do 3, I don't know, just whatever one. And you can see here it broke down that into even smaller tasks that will be shown in the folder. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Yep. So here it has the even smaller tasks. 3.1, 3.2 task. I think it's TM list, and if I wanted to do TM show 3. If I did TM show and you run the command TM show, whatever ID of the task you want to further view, it breaks it up into even smaller things to where you can then feed these into your AI coder and it will know exactly. Because just like as Abraham Lincoln said, I would rather spend 99% of my time sharpening the blade before I make my first swing. Did he actually say that? I don't remember exactly. Something along the lines of that. But that is essentially what we're doing here, just sharpening the blade. And so, yep, now that it's working on its next task, that you kind of get the idea. That's really it. One of the things I forgot to mention too is, and just make sure you have your API keys, because it's not going to work if you don't set up your API keys. And how or what you need to do is, in this .env example, just click rename and remove the .example to set it as a .env, which I've done here. I don't want to click on it and show you guys, but replace these keys here with your Claude API key and here with your Perplexity API key. Alright, so if I was going to start from the beginning, this is what I would do. You could go on Grok, Claude, whatever you want to do, or even in your project, right? And I would simply just go here, click ask, and you can even see here learn brainstorm. Help me develop a PRD for this app I want to make. And your PRD would look something like this. It has details of how your app works, what it should do, and it's just, again, the brain of your project. If I was starting from zero, I didn't know what to do, I want to work on a new project, I would just go here. You don't need to use any sort of like crazy tool for this. Just ask it, develop me a PRD of a project I want to make. It's a video game, and it's just going to spit out this file here, something like that. And the same logic applies. Just go back, just how I showed you with my current implementation, and just tell your AI, hey, let's turn these into tasks. I hope I'm not being repetitive here, but you get the idea. Once you install the MCP, or if you have it locally, like if I was here local and I didn't want to use MCP at all, I mean it's the same thing. TM list, or if I wanted to initially generate the tasks, I would run TM parse PRD, which generates the tasks from the document. PRD, and here you would put the command of input. Let me remove these two. And then this is the file where it's going to be. Here it's going to be scripts slash prd.txt. And it would generate the tasks. That's literally it if you didn't want to use the MCP route. But that is pretty much how you use Taskmaster. I showed you guys how I implement it into my current AI coding workflow. Um, and if you have any more questions, I hope this was some good information for you guys of how I currently use Taskmaster and how easy it is to set up. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Make sure you join the AI Builders Club. It's a community of fellow AI coders. We learn and build apps with AI. I currently built an app called Jack Girl Fitness. We've currently hit around, I think the 50K mark. Let's see here. Customers, charts. I don't know, this is weird. But check it out on the app. It's just a fitness app for one, but we've hit around 50K in the last 4 or 5 months. It's done pretty well. And I'm just here to help you guys out. That's all. Thank you guys.